You're listening to the podcast Back to the Real, and I'm your host, Marcus Tegler. Welcome to the podcast Back to the Real, the podcast that discusses how movies influences us, but also has an impact on us. Today's guest is my friend and filmmaker Martin Lindstedt. Martin has a YouTube channel that shows the creative process of movie making, and he's here today to talk about his inspiration. Hey Martin.
Hello.
Hello. Finally, the day has come.
The day has come, yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am an independent filmmaker here in south of Sweden. And let's just get to the fun part. I made a Alien fan fiction back in 2015 and 2018. Mm-hmm. And so now I have your audience hooked. I hope they can continue along here while we talk about this. But let's rewind the tape a little bit. I found, my parents' video camera when I was 19 or so, and got really hooked on making short film, working with film as a medium. Super creative, and also I got to say in the beginning when that really got me hooked on filmmaking was Lord of the Rings, and I guess I feel like in our generations there are a lot of filmmakers that have that kind of experience, watching the films and then watching how they made the films, solving all these creative problems. And it's like, I want to be there. I want to do this.
Oh, wow.
So that is how I got started. And in the beginning, I also made a lot of short films. And around when I was 30, I found a little bit of another, hobby. And also I work in production. I work at corporate video. I work at a production house here in Sweden. Yeah. So I got a little bit tired of the grind of doing short films. So I felt like I just want to take a little break. But then around 2015, I got this urge again. I wanted to do something creative, something fun, something completely wild. So I had this idea whenever I went down to do my laundry where I live. In the basement, there was long tunnels or corridors with all these, pipes and cables up in the ceiling. And whenever I went down there to do the laundry, I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have like a xenomorph running around there? Because every time I was down
as
here,
you do.
as you do, and that's my this crazy fantasy you're having when you're thinking about this stuff. But I was because whenever I went down there, it was very similar to this spaceship in Alien. The Nostromo, when you're dark corners and hallways and all that. So my mind starts spinning, and
the creative
mind
gets going.
Exactly. And Alien is also a very favorite movie for me. Yeah. I love that. I love that franchise. Honestly, honestly, I like 1 and 2. A couple
of exceptions.
I like 1 and 2, maybe 3.
maybe 3.
But
the Alien movies were like a huge inspiration source for you.
Yeah,
you came up with the idea of doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I, without committing to anything, I just went online and found myself a free 3D model of the xenomorph from the movies, or actually from the game, AVP game. Yeah. So I just downloaded that and started playing with the model, and I have an experience, or a past with compositing and visual effects and so on. So I just tried to work with this model and see if I can learn myself animation and what can I do with this model, because after you got it rigged, with the technical stuff, I realized that I could do quite a lot if I just put in some time. So the first idea I had was to just have a girl coming down to the basement and doing her laundry, and then she sees this monster and gets killed. But yeah, it's boring us.
No, it's not. First, when you started with saying that you did the alarm, it was like autobiographical. But that's how it starts. You have an idea, and then you build upon that idea.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly, and I built on the idea while I was discovering what was possible. So it's like it went like this. So instead of just doing my first draft with this screenplay, I realized that I can evolve it. I can do more. I can have this creature. I can have it run. I can have it sneak up on her. I mean, I could do a lot more than I thought. So basically, I shot this over a couple of months on weekends by myself. And then
sorry for interrupting. Was it just you in the production? Did you do most? Like you did directing, photography, and so you did basically. That's a huge.
Yeah, it's not something I recommend. But I since I've been doing this for a long time, I know that I'm very. I know exactly how much I can do. Yeah. So I can push myself to this limit here. Yeah. And make something. And if I go past that, things will just fall apart. Yeah. So if you just know your limit and stay there, it's fine. But anyway, so we shot this short film over a couple of months on weekends, and then. I actually spent like a year or so just doing the visual effects and trying things and just trying things and learning myself doing the animation and compositing and all that.
Was this the first time that you did this kind of animation for?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was the first time. So that's why it took like a year or so.
I remember when I saw the final product, you posted online on YouTube. Yeah. And we knew each other for some time, but we had worked together in some collaborations before. And you were mostly at the time thinking like doing more like a little comedy drama, and then suddenly you do this horror short. So at the first I didn't know it was a fan fiction until because I didn't read the complete title. Yeah, exactly. Oh. So but then when I saw some of the actors like Fredrik, when they had the Weyland-Yutani logo, so like, oh, this is interesting. But then you built it up in such a good way in the movie, the suspense and what was going on, and then the frightful elements that was a huge part of the Alien movie as well.
Frightful.
That you actually you captured it in a very good way. And then when I saw the xenomorph, the animation you did, I'm just very, very honest. I was blown away because it looked so good. Oh. And I already, like I said before, I knew that you already were very talented, but doing that kind of animation, now you're telling me this was the first time that you did this kind of animation, makes it even better. I would say that it just looks amazing, and that you shot it at home in the basement of the building where you live, and that for the production value to be able to like make it. You have the claustrophobic sense, like you said, and all with the pipes and everything, and the dark setting and everything going on. To me, that was a huge accomplishment, I would say, for you. So a big congratulations to you as well. So but then you gained a lot of attention as well for that short film.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't have any plan for this short film, actually. I mean, I just wanted to do something cool, basically.
Which you do.
Which is quite normal for filmmakers, do something cool. So I just put it on YouTube, and I sent it to this local, film festival here in Sweden, Pixel, and just, but and the funny thing is with YouTube, the algorithm can either kill you or it can serve you.
Yeah.
So it really served these 2 short films that I made because it found its audience.
Yeah.
All these people that love Alien and Alien content, they came to my channel, and that is how I got a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
Which honestly is a little bit of a double-edged sword because now they are waiting for new Alien content, and I am a little bit more into taking my channel to something else and grow the channel to talk a little bit more about filmmaking and tips and tricks and tutorials and all that, because that is a content that you can do much quicker.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do only alien infestation episodes on my channel, well, then you'll have 1 video each year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It can be like a YouTube series or like.
Honestly, I would love that, but it's it takes time. It does cost money. We just had a talk here about maybe you could try some Kickstarter solution to just cover the expenses. But it's fan fiction is also a little bit of a gray area. So, but I mean, if I try it and see how it goes. I mean, if I get a letter from lawyers from Hollywood, then I'll stop.
So, Disney.
Exactly. So, ooh, no.
When you open the letter,
Exactly. But maybe you should try it. Maybe I should try it.
Absolutely, I think sounds like a great. Like you said, unless you don't hear anything from them, then I think you're in the clear. Basically, I think it's more if you do it and.
If you learn something from
it, exactly, that you get monetized by it or that you gain money from it. Then I think it would be something complete. But then, being a fan film, it's your love for the movie, for the franchise, that this is a way for you to express
my love for these movies.
Exactly. So then I think I would say would be in the clear.
Yeah.
But like you said, maybe if you could do like subtle references in the movies, and so people are okay. We know what he meant there, like connecting to the other movies, for example.
Yeah. Of course, you can do that. Yeah.
But I'm very curious to hear more about it. So you got you mentioned Lord of the Rings, for example. You talked about how that inspired you as a movie, because I remember as well seeing it for the first time. It was blown away, and it was something original as well. It was nothing like sequel, prequel that we're quite used to today. But then, as you point out, me also being very interested in watching behind the scenes when they made the movies, and this huge project and all the people involved with it, and then all aspects of how they create this world and this environment. I mean, it was mind-blowing to watch.
It is mind-blowing. They constructed their own streets into the filmmaking location. I mean, what kind of huge corporation is this? Actually, when I watch these behind the scenes today, I get a little bit tired. All of that work. Oh man.
All the thousands of people involved in these productions.
Yeah, just imagine, organizing all of that.
Yeah.
And keeping check on everything. It's amazing.
I mean, it's such a this product that they're producing. I mean, it's like a whole. I wouldn't say like a civilization, I was supposed to say, but like it's a huge crowd of people that are working together as a unit, and these enormous productions. I mean, how keeping like you said, keeping everything together. I mean, I wouldn't envy the production leader or assistants there on those kind of productions. That must be quite a workload.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you have any other movies that you can feel like you had inspiration from in your movie making progress, where you felt like you mentioned Lord of the Rings and you mentioned Alien, for example? Is there other movies that you feel like what would you say are your go-to movies that gives you inspiration?
Yeah, I think I get inspiration from lots of different movies. I'm not just watching horror films. But from my channel, I am trying to get my audience to come along on my journey as a filmmaker, and actually treat my audience with something that's a little bit similar to my alien infestation shorts. And eventually, maybe I will, find another genre or non-genre movie I want to do. I don't want to paint myself into a corner. But sometimes when I write my stories, you get that little tingle in your stomach when you're writing. These little offbeat stories and that has this fantastical aspect. It's it's like you connect with your kid inside of you once again, and I think that genre movie in general, it's they're great when you can use genre as a something that can elevate the drama in some sense. So it's not just for entertainment, but there's actually some kind of a drama inside your genre movie that is elevated by the genre aspect.
Yeah,
I love that when that happens. That is the go-to when it comes to genre movies, I think.
I agree with you, but then at the same time, like we talked about before as well, before we started shooting, like coming up with the ideas, coming up with the story. And I think that's from my own personal experience, that's probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest, to actually come up with an idea, an idea to build a story on, and then putting it in motion, and then building upon that. I find very tricky sometimes.
Absolutely. I honestly think that if you start with just writing a simple drama, and then if you have that strong, like a strong base with a drama, and then just ask yourself, how can we put this in a context or a genre twist on it to make it even more interesting.
Exactly.
Because then you started with a nice, solid drama, but you made it just a little bit more, interesting.
You tweak it.
Yeah,
here and there.
You
sprinkles.
Salt onto it.
Perfectly. I like that one. Magic.
Yeah, magic. Fairy dust.
But speaking of, like you mentioned earlier, that you have a huge interest in like the movie making process, since you're also working within movie making and the movie industry at the moment, and like you say, corporate moves. But then you have an interest of, as I've recently watched, that you also have a YouTube channel that you said, but that you actually let people have like tips and tricks within how to shoot, maybe on a budget, and maybe creating effects within the camera and stuff. If you'd like to tell a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I this is my idea where I want to go with my YouTube channel, because I think I can reach a lot more people, or even more people, and doing that by just sharing the knowledge. I mean, over all these years I've been doing film. There's a lot of things in here that I can talk about and share, and if people can come to my channel and subscribe, I get a kickback, because views, I get ad revenue. So So if I can get people to come to my channel and learn stuff, because this is also something they say about social media. If you're gonna do content, it needs to be like informative, funny. And there's also a third thing, which I can't remember. But there's a third thing. I don't remember.
We'll come up on that later. So, everything that the algorithm likes.
Serve the algorithm. That's the third thing.
I almost see it like in RoboCop, when he lists the 3 objectives, like serve the public trust, uphold the law, protect the innocent. The 4th one is secret. It's the same thing with the do-it-yourself movie production.
Yeah, exactly. It's a secret. YouTube doesn't want to share the 3rd one.
But seeing that, do you have like ideas or goals where what would be the next step for you, for example, with the YouTube channel, but also with your own movie making process? Do you feel?
Yeah, I I see myself doing this. For the last couple of years, I've been doing a short film each year, and I want to continue doing this because I feel like I have a little bit of a momentum, and I want to start networking more and find people that also inside of the movie making sphere. But I am looking also into in the future try to do like a Kickstarter, a crowd funding project.
It's extremely effective way of gaining attention, and also making it even more possible to actually have a budget for production as well. So
exactly. And will I do this for Alien Infestation series, or will I do this for? I mean, if I do Alien, I can probably get people to support me.
I think
if I do my own thing, maybe not so much.
I think there's also always a possibility, because then you gain, like, if you want to do a project that might differ a little bit, but then you can always put, like, in the famous movie trailers, this director that did. Same. So when people say, "Oh, that's the same guy," okay, this is one we want to produce as well.
That's true. It's I get a little bit. Or my idea is to really have a nice show reel or a portfolio in a couple of years, so I can look back and say that I've done all of these short films, and maybe start also trying to get funding from here in Sweden. But funding in Sweden.
It's not that huge.
No, it's not huge, and there's a lot of people that want to do movies here, and the whole process of dealing with all this paperwork and writing correctly applications. And
it takes a lot of time to do.
It takes a lot of time, and you get a no.
No, it's true. I've been through that process many times as well before, and it feels like we both are, maybe I would say maybe specialized, but we both appreciate genre movies, and that's what we want to create as well. When we feel creative, that my impression, I wouldn't generalize in any way, but my impression is that mostly focus is on like drama. Especially in Sweden.
I totally agree.
Yes. And I think it's too much focus on that, and seeing many of the movies that actually got a lot of international attention recently in like film festivals and so on were the movies where they actually tried to make it a bit more genre. I remember still being so fascinated by Let the Right One In.
Oh yes, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's so good, and especially how it went, like it became so huge internationally as well. And it was a Swedish movie. It's like a kind of low key, but it was very effective and a very interesting and nice story as well. And then a couple of years ago, I remember I forget the name of the production crew. They did was it the UFO?
Crazy Pictures.
Crazy Pictures, thank you.
The production company in Norrköping.
Yeah, and they have an idea that they want to do genre movies, for example, and they just went all in and did this amazing, funny comedy. And then, to me, that's very inspirational to see that going full on and doing an idea that you really like doing, but then not being not just a drama movie, that you actually do genre, like this was like science fiction and comedy at the same time. So, and I would like to see more of that in Sweden in particular, and that's why I feel like these kind of production makes it more accessible and available to the public as well, that you can help out by donating or helping out, like with Patreon, Kickstarter, and those kinds of stuff as well.
And I think that if you are one of those people that are in charge with the funding, of course you need to think that we need to fund these movies that Swedish people go and see in the cinema. So that's why it always needs to be a little bit mediocre, maybe. No, not mediocre, but you don't want to take any risk.
No,
you don't want to take any risk. You need all the people that is functional to go see that movie that we're funding.
Yeah.
If we want to make genre movie in Sweden, I think we need to raise our our view and try to make movies not for Swedish people,
No.
but for everyone.
Yes.
I mean,
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I mean, you have all the possibilities today to distribute your movie.
Yes.
So why can't we use that and try to distribute it to all over the place to get people watch Swedish genre movies. But I am not a producer in that sense. I don't know what the challenges is.
Yeah.
So
true.
But back to find funding for your short film. It's for me as a creative person, and for you as well, to sit there with application and fill in the form and all of that. It's just it's soul crushing work.
Soul crushing, time consuming, and energy draining, all at the same time.
Yeah, all at the same time, exactly. So that is why I just decided to be independent, to do my own thing and try to find another way forward. And to do movies by yourself like I'm doing, it's not easy by any means. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, but I just have to do it. It's like
which I'm very glad that you did, and I think many other people agree with me as well that you actually took the step of doing your own thing, your own productions as well. Because I was just thinking, like, it's a way for you as well as a creator you actually create your own stuff as well, and that it's extremely creative in that way, that you have your own ideas that you can put into it. I mean, of course, it would be fun to be working on a production as well, like epic productions like that. But then at the same time, if you are a storyteller, and you do very cool stuff. I think this is something definitely you should continue pursuing as well. So
yeah, it's funny you should say that, because there is also there are some not drawbacks.
Say it in Swedish.
Fördelar.
Benefits.
Benefits, exactly. There are some benefits just doing what I'm doing, and that is you have complete control.
Yes.
Complete control. You can do whatever you want to, whenever you want to. And I have an example. For example, I filmed my last short film a couple of weeks ago in my apartment, and I wanted a shot above my actress sitting on the floor, and I wanted this shot with a camera like over her, straight down, top down shot, like, and just booming out like this. So what I did, I just took my action camera on a stick like this and just moving it over her, and I got the shot. Just like that. I mean, that is something you could never do on a big commercial, big production.
They don't support creative solutions like MacGyver is not one of their favorites.
No. I mean, you would be left off the set.
Yeah, but you're fired.
You're fired. Exactly. So I mean, that is such that freedom is very, very nice to have. Because I think that filmmakers are problem solvers. Yeah. And that is how I approach my filmmaking, just to solve the problem at hand, and what is the best way to do this. And in that moment, the best way was to just take my action camera and do that, and there I got the shot. Let's move on. So, but
done. Next.
Done next, exactly. I mean, a little note about technology today. I mean, that little action camera it has like the required quality. I mean, it can film in 10-bit and 422 and all that, so it cuts perfectly with my other cameras, and it's just that one shot, and no one will notice. No. So so that's the benefit of doing what these small and independent short film projects, that you can do whatever you want to.
No, exactly. And you mentioned something as well, that how things have changed just the last 10 years, I would say.
Oh yes.
Like when you me started out, I mean, we had some of the technology, but it was not that accessible in the same way. For example, with cameras, sound equipment, and stuff like, and how much things have changed technically.
Yes.
And it's easier today to achieve like a very filmic look to a movie, as for example. So smaller productions can still look like an epic Hollywood production. If you like you say, if you know the tools, you know the tips and tricks that you teach on your YouTube channel, makes it even more possible to achieve a product or a result that you can actually feel like this is a really good production. It's high production value.
Yeah, absolutely. The technology has been moving so fast forward. It's amazing. I mean, a couple of years ago, we didn't have these wireless mics that are all over the place today. You can just hide them in here, and you're good to go. Of course, you can get a lot better sound with a sound guy, of course. But in a pinch, with no funding, that's what you got to do. And also with you were saying about the technical stuff. What you said something else.
With the camera, and you said with the sound, and then you have made the tools, and like you said in examples, like there's creative solutions that you can do by yourself. Like I remember one episode you did on the YouTube channel with the dolly rig, and you showed the process how you created like the wheels to it, and you built the mount to it, and where you put the camera on, so to be able to have these nice
smooth
pans. And then I'm thinking like what. I would say like if you would have the equipment that they use on Hollywood productions, for example, like a big budget, how much they cost.
Oh yeah.
Then versus the one you have that use, and you, I would say, nail it with exactly same result when you do the panning, and that's like a very creative solution.
Yeah, exactly. Creative solution on your problem, and the funny thing is that. When we're talking about technical stuff, and you want to, in the beginning, you want to acquire as much stuff as possible. You know, I need that light, I need that camera, I need that lens, I need this and this and this and this. And as time goes by, you realize that you don't really need all that much.
No.
You if you know how to work the camera and how you're going to shoot it and how you're going to light it and edit it and grade it. Then all of a sudden you don't need that much, man. No.
And that's my point as well. That we talked about is that you have an idea, you have a creative mind, then it shows that you are the center in that way, that the technical aspects are there to help you to gain the result that you want. But in all, how you use it is the most, the person behind that you. So and how it's been made more accessible and more helpful tools to achieve those. I find it so cool and fascinating. I remember thinking like before when we didn't have the digital cameras and we were still shooting on film, for example, and how expensive that was just to process there, and it was like student films and stuff.
You remember, DV cassette?
Oh yes, I remember. That was the first one I came in contact with when I went to the film school as well. That we had these DV tapes that we shot on, and did our student productions on. I was like, homemade.
Looks like vacation, footage.
But it's true. It's true. And now, for example, just using your, if you have an iPhone or Android, the cameras there, you even have a cinematic setting to make it look like it's.
You have a nice big sensor.
Exactly.
Blurred background and all that.
I know. Yeah. So technology has, advanced so far in a short time, and how it's become so much helpful in independent productions that that you can when you have an idea, you have a cool story that you want to do, it's easier to do it now and make it as look as good as possible as well.
And that's why I feel like I don't have any excuse not to do what I do, because I have all the things I need there. It's available to me, so why not just go and do it? And it's I lost my train of thought.
No worries. But if I can ask, for example, the for example cameras and sound equipment that you use, is this something that you have by yourself that you have acquired during the years, or is it something that you borrow or rent?
No,
Or?
I have all the gear I need.
You said it with a smile.
So it was because I just said I don't need so much stuff, but I got a lot of stuff. but you know, it's if I acquire something that I need, I usually get rid of something that I already have. So it's like a circle of gear. Kretslopp. But I got my own stuff, and the reason I got my technology is because if I can learn it, if I can have it next to me and just try out, even if I'm not doing anything for the moment, like a short film, so I can always try things and experiment. And how can I connect all these pieces of gear together to make the most of them. So I don't want to rent stuff when I need them, because then you need time to be to learn the gear. So in my camera I got a Sony A7S III. I can map all of the buttons to my liking, so I can quickly operate it. But if I would rent like an Ariel Alexa or something, I mean, Jesus, how do I? Where's the white balance here?
I need a month to in order to learn this camera.
And I have a couple of actors waiting for me to learn how to operate this camera. I mean, of course I could learn it, but it's just so it goes so much smoother if you know your stuff. Yeah.
But a curious question as well. For example, when you walk into this movie production, your own production, and when you decide on, since you're doing the cinematography as well, do you have usually inspiration from other movies that you've watched within the same genre, or maybe some typically same kind of movie before you start the process of shooting? Do you can you remember I saw this movie once, for example, they had a nice shot there, or like a nice cinematography in there, and you try to find inspiration from that?
Yes, absolutely. There are a couple of shots after I've done some of my short films. I realized that some of these scenes or shots are in my unconscious. I've brought these shots unconsciously into this movie. For example, in my Alien Infestation, there's this shot where there's going to be a spoiler here.
Close your eyes and hold your ears if you don't want any spoilers. It's
pause here and go watch it and come back.
Fast forward. Sorry, please continue.
So the monster, the xenomorph, comes into the kitchen and chases this poor girl into the kitchen. And I realized that, afterwards, kitchen and a monster, and I was like, wait a minute, did I just remake the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park? The kids in the kitchen, and they're back here in the hallway. I was like, did I do that? It was completely unconscious. I mean, in my subconscious. Yeah. But afterwards, I realized that there are lots of these shots that you just pull up from memory. That you want to recreate. There's another shot where she's in the basement and she's making all of the noise with the door, and then I wanted a shot where we're looking down in the hallway. There are two shots, like we're whipping the camera like this. And then afterwards I realized that's the shot from Lord of the Rings in Moria. Where Pippin making noise, and that is like they're doing this whipping camera shot. It's like it came from within me, because I didn't know at the time that I did that exact shot. I realized that afterwards. So it's so fun to notice that afterwards, that you're like.
but that's what I find so fascinating as well when we're talking about how movies can affect you in that way, that you've seen something that had maybe a huge impact on you, or very inspirational, and then like you say, that you subconsciously do a scene and then suddenly maybe afterwards realize, oh, this looks familiar,
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And if you can identify by, oh, this looks very similar to, like you said, that was. And to me, that's so interesting how it can affect you in that way, and that it's somewhere in part of your brain
Yeah.
there is like
doing
this,
these connections,
yeah,
the synapses in there.
yeah, no, I agree. But because looking at movie directors that are active today, I think one of my favorites, but has like this vast library of references in his movies, is like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he has such a huge. When you hear interviews with him, I mean, the knowledge he has about movies is, I mean, it's so extensive, and it's so hilarious to hear him talking about it as well. But then you notice that many of his movies where he's borrowed a lot of, maybe sometimes even exactly same shot as well.
Yeah.
But then the later movies he did, for example, he borrowed music from Ennio Morricone for the Western, like the Italian spaghetti Western. And that's very interesting to see how all the knowledge that he's gained, he's watched a lot of movies, and then how that has inspired his work as well, that he combined so many elements into his version of his story and his idea. And to me, that's extremely fascinating, interesting to hear, and especially hearing now from you as well, how you get the ideas for the production that you do, and the inspiration as well. So
absolutely. And you asked me before if I purposefully try to get a similar shot from cinematography. I mean, if I have inspiration from another movie.
Exactly.
And I think that my drive when I shoot my short films is more what can I do and what can I accomplish, and how can I make this look good. For my last short film called Together, I shot that in my apartment, and it was about a woman that was very psychologically in distress. So I wanted to make my whole apartment all messy, just to reflect this. And basically that is, I just needed to dress my whole apartment very messy, and then at the time I bought myself a hazer, so you can get haze inside of your set, and that is something that could elevate the shots quite a lot, because you get all this. You can see the distance, even in a short rooms. You can with a little bit of haze, you can see the distance. You get a depth feeling in your shot.
Exactly.
But basically, most of my approach is just to see what I have and what I can have available, and work with the not the drawbacks. You can work with the challenges. You can work with the So
it becomes more of like a challenge, or like something that makes it maybe even more fun to see where the boundaries are, what you can do and what you can't do, and like how do you overcome them, for example, and stuff like
exactly. So if I have a location available, and you come to the location, you can just look at it and ask yourself, okay, how am I going to make this look good? And that's basically my approach, and that is something that actually came much from my work. When you're doing corporate work, you usually, if you're going to do an interview, you get a boring office room that you're going to do a interview in. And then you go in there and you look around. Okay, how the hell am I going to do this?
This is very, very plain, very sterile.
Plain, very sterile. Not one plant or nothing. It's all white. The light will bounce around everywhere. So it's like, how am I going to do something visually appealing here? by all of these years, from all of these years I've been doing my profession, that it's something that really has gotten into my spine in a sense. Like, how can you make something boring look somewhat better?
Yeah, but I can understand that must be a challenge as well to be able, like, how can you creatively solve a situation to make it look as appealing as possible. So I can totally understand. I remember also at one point I did some corporate videos as well and faced similar challenges and you just have to try and, like you said, solve it in the best way possible and make it look as good as possible, as near as possible to the images like you had in your mind that you try like to achieve the best way possible.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But just curious, is there a director working at the moment that you feel like, or maybe directors that you feel are a huge inspiration for you in your work? You mentioned a couple of movies, but I think like working directors or photographers that you feel like they're very inspirational for your own work.
Yes, honestly, I am not really. I mean, I like some movies. I like a lot of movies, but I'm not really following anyone in particular. Or maybe for maybe this last year or so, I've been watching Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, because I've noticed that his style and his approach to the genre and the drama and the genre, the drama and the genre,
they work so well together.
They work very well together. This movie called Arrival. I think it's Arrival.
So good.
Yes,
movie.
It's great.
We've actually talked about it in a former podcast episode, the idea about it. I had a colleague of mine, a friend that was a linguist, and talked about the idea of coming up with this alien language. And then, spoiler alert, how it goes and transcends through time as well. Just coming up with that idea, it was so cool.
Yeah, so cool.
But he's one of the I would say, if you say like more popular directors at the moment that are very in this, so like he's doing his thing. He's doing sci-fi is his
sci-fi is his thing. But I think he also has a nice way to mix drama and into his science fiction films. Yeah,
good stories, great character development, and everything just works very well in his movies. I'm a big fan of him as well. So especially. Blade Runner 2049 was it was so
yes, good. I love that film also. And there's another movie he made with Jack Gyllenhaal.
I forgot the name. When the child goes missing. I mean, we're thinking about it.
No, it's about Jack Gyllenhaal when he is an actor and he finds himself on TV.
Yes. Oh, I forgot the name. I know which one you mean. Yeah. But he's, like you said, he started out with dramas, and then he did like the Sicario as well, the cartel drama. Oh, it's so good.
It's good.
It's really good, really good. And then moving up to Blade Runner after that one, then now making Dune Part 1, Part 2, and now doing Part 3 as well. That's gonna be cool to watch.
Cool.
So. But
Enemy is the name of that movie.
Enemy. Yeah. Good.
Yes.
So we'll write down the titles in the description on the YouTube channel as well. But thinking about maybe rounding up a bit, but just before we end, I was thinking like if you can name like top 3 movies that you can recommend for people to watch of your own personal taste, what would those 3 movies be?
I would recommend. Should I list my first one? The best one?
You can take it in which order you want.
This is not no order at all.
Yeah. You're out of order.
I would recommend people to see Children of Men.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes. Yeah. That's something I always come back to. Children of Men. I just love that movie. How it's shot, how it's made, and the story. I mean, everything is just so impressive in that. No spoilers. It's a very, very good movie. And also, I mean, sometimes you meet younger people that haven't seen the classics.
Mm.
So I gotta say, you have to see Alien, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a must, basically.
Yeah, it's a must, yes.
I mean, it's a masterpiece
Yes,
still.
it's so good. I mean, even today, when you start Alien, it looks so timeless.
Yeah.
And then when you watch Aliens, it feels like it feels much more older in some sense.
Yes.
So Alien seems like a movie that was made just a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
And that's funny how that works.
I also had the pipes in the ceiling and so.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But no, but it's interesting that you're pointing out, because I thought about that recently as well. That it has a more timeless feeling to it, and why it's like that, I don't dare to really answer. I have no answer to. But there's something about it that just makes it feel like it could be shot now.
Yeah,
It
exactly,
could have been shot for like it was for like 45 years ago.
Yeah.
And still today holds up.
Yeah.
And how many movies are so inspired by the mood, the setting, and the set design, for example, as well. How that it set the boundaries in a way, and set the standard.
The standard for you, yeah. All right, so the third movie would be, since we talked about it, would be Enemy with Denis Villeneuve.
Okay, I have to be honest and say I haven't watched that one actually.
Yeah,
so
I think you would like it. It's a little bit of a mind fuck.
Oh, I like those.
It's a nice little what the hell.
But that's what I like with movies, especially when it can make you have that that the audience gets like the surprise effect if you can nail it perfectly in the story, and
it's a little bit demanding of the viewer, but I think you would like it.
There's a good payoff.
Yeah, it's a good payoff. Very nice.
All right. Martin, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here. I enjoyed this very, very much, and I love what you're doing here. And thanks, John, who's back there. So
happy that you could. Can you just before we wrap it up, what's in it for you now? What do you have ongoing at the moment?
I am currently starting to. Wrapping up my latest short film. It's called Pathfinder.
Yeah.
It's about a girl who is sad for her dad's death, grieving her dad's death. Yeah. And she wants to turn to higher powers and ask why did it happen? This happens, but. She gets an answer, but it's not from what you would think, and it's not the answer she wanted to hear.
No.
And this is a drama, dystopian little short film, and dealing a lot with technology and obvious faith and so on. So that is what I'm doing right now, and I will, of course, release it to YouTube and talk about how I made it and all that I usually do on my channel. So
nice. And if you guys haven't seen it, please make sure to check out Martin's YouTube channel. It's lots of fun stuff that he does, and it's very inspirational for movie makers and the people that are interested in the movie making process in itself. So check that out. We'll put a link in the description as well. So
very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Martin.
Nice.
Thank you so much for watching the podcast. If you enjoyed what you were watching, please remember to hit like and subscribe. It helps me with the channel and it helps me create more content. See you next time.